President Trump has been violating his oath of office every day of his presidency in large and small ways. The oath pledges only two things. First, I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States. Donald Trump has never done that. He has never faithfully done his job as president. The other pledge in the presidential oath of office is to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Donald Trump cannot preserve, protect, or defend a Constitution he has never read and does not understand. And so instead of defending the Constitution, Donald Trump attacks the Constitution, which is, for any president, both a violation of the president's oath of office and a high crime. Indeed, for the founders, there would be no higher crime a president could commit than attacking the Constitution he is supposed to defend. And that is what Donald Trump did yesterday with a tweet saying this. I believe that if people stopped using or subscribing to AT&T, they would be forced to make big changes at CNN. It is perfectly appropriate that an impeachable Trump tweet would, of course, contain a spelling error. Reaction to this tweet was mild, but the New York Times' Peter Baker gave it an appropriate frame, saying the President of the United States just called for an economic boycott on one of the country's largest communications firms as a way of pressuring a media organization to cover him in a way that he approves of. In other words, the president just attacked the First Amendment of the Constitution. The president's sworn duty is to stand up to people who attack the Constitution. His duty is to defend the Constitution. But this president is the country's most relentless attacker of the Constitution. If the House Democrats include this latest impeachable offense by the president in their current investigation of the president, they can call as their chief witness a former member of the board of Time Warner who can testify about the president's record of, quote, public animus towards CNN. When Time Warner, which includes CNN, was merging with AT&T. That member of the board actually submitted an under oath affidavit objecting to the Justice Department's attempt to block the merger. In his affidavit, that distinguished member of the board identified himself as a former Attorney General of the United States, and before that, a former Deputy Attorney General, and before that, an Assistant Attorney General, and his private sector experience included 14 years as the General Counsel at Verizon. And so he submitted his affidavit as an expert in telecommunications and in federal law enforcement. And he said under oath that the Trump Justice Department's interference with the merger, quote, was inconsistent with decades of settled antitrust law and the Department of Justice's own internal merger guidelines, and bore no relationship to how the media and telecommunications marketplaces actually function. He complained that the Trump Justice Department would not, quote, engage in a meaningful discussion. He said that the Trump Justice Department seemed to be taking legal action because of, quote, the president's prior public animus towards CNN and this merger. He said that the Trump Justice Department's legal position was, quote, the product not of a well-versed substantive analysis, but rather political or other motivation. As the former Attorney General, that is disturbing to me. That former Attorney General was William Barr, who signed that affidavit in February of 2018 under oath. AT&T then won its case against the Trump Justice Department, and the merger was completed. When the president yesterday returned via tweet to what William Barr once called his, quote, public animus towards CNN, William Barr stayed silent this time. Attorney General William Barr did not follow his oath of office and raise his voice in defense of the Constitution against the President of the United States, who attacked the Constitution yesterday in a grotesque attempt to crush the First Amendment rights of a news organization. Another day, another impeachable offense. That is tonight's Last Word. The 11th hour with Brian Williams starts now.